Hi, and welcome to Entrepreneur Masterclass TV. I'm your host, Leah Woodford, and with me today is Kathi Sohn, a core belief expert. Welcome to the show, Kathi.
Thank you, Leah. It is so great to be here.
So, Kathi, what is a core belief expert?
Well, everybody realizes that we have beliefs, right? They think of, religious beliefs and political beliefs. What a lot of people don't realize is that we actually form core beliefs before we're even 7 years old. By the time we're 7, we've largely determined how I am, how others are, and how life is.
Now, some of that's good, but some of it's not so good. Can we unpack that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, most of it's not good. These hidden beliefs that we have because when we're really, really young, we're in our emotional brain. We're trying to figure out how this world works, how to get our needs met, how to get love. And, we don't really understand what we're experiencing and what we're feeling. And we can leap to a conclusion about something happened around us and it's our fault.
So basically, we are a toddler running the show.
Yes.
So Kathi, how do you discover this? I mean, I imagine this impacts our lives significantly throughout over and over again because we're based on habits and patterns. So how does that show up?
Well, there's really only two different places that these childhood beliefs can lead us. One is to crisis, and the other's in our comfort zone. Now, when you're in crisis, it's because something's, not working. Either it's your health or your finances or your relationships just consistently don't work. And that's actually a better place to be than in your comfort zone because a lot of people just get sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? Mm-hmm. They're like, I got to find out what's going on here. That's when they're able to look inside themselves. And then we can go from there. Unfortunately, a lot of times people get stuck in a comfort zone where, everything's pretty much okay. I'm living paycheck to paycheck, but I'm not broke, right? And so we get in a little bit of in a rut, and we're less likely to turn inward. And we might think, things aren't really great because of the economy, right? Or it's about my spouse, right? Or it's about some condition outside of myself. And we get very used to it's all out there and never even think about what could have happened early in my life that might be causing things to be like this now.
Now, Kathi, how much of this is from parenting and maybe the schoolyard bully or even a teacher?
Yeah. So when we're very, very young, we start out with that sort of inner circle of caregivers, right? It's about our parents and about our siblings. And this is when we get like an initial set that we start out with. But then we move on, right? Our world gets a little bit bigger and we're still being influenced, right? Up until about that, it varies from person to person, but generally around 7 years old. So now we're going to nursery school, we're going to kindergarten. And the interesting thing about beliefs is they become reinforced. It's like I have this belief, I've put it in this experience, I have this belief I form, say everything is my fault. Now, that's a big one with kids. And then there's this experience in kindergarten where, something happened and maybe I get blamed or I just go to it's my fault. A lot of times people are like, it's my fault because I did something or because I didn't do something. Either way, they're taking all of that blame. So it's not just through those early teachers, it's into adult life where these beliefs, self-fulfilling prophecies, and they just keep becoming more and more ingrained into, it's just, we just figure, oh, I know, that's just the way I am.
So you make an interesting point. So nobody gets through childhood unscathed then. We all have childhood trauma.
Yes.
Now, how do we overcome that childhood trauma?
Yeah. Well, again, there has to be something. Either it's unfortunate, it's not good that it happens this way, but it will happen that we end up in crisis, maybe a health challenge that will wake us up to, okay, we need to work on ourselves. Or maybe we're in that comfort zone and we really want, something finally motivates us, like, I'm going to take that step, right? And then there's that turning inward. We must look within ourselves for the answers. So that's that first step. And that 360-degree look at our life, like what's not working, and what is my body telling me? So my husband, who created this work, over all the years, like over 30 years of working with people, he discovered these beliefs, which he called vows, by the way, because vows, like wedding vows, if you think about them, they're a promise to someone else, right? But this is a promise about how we're going to be in life based upon what I'm thinking that life is. So it's, when we have a vow, it's going to land somewhere in our body. So our body is really another really big tool for letting us know, like, you know, what's going on. So where are we carrying pain and tension? A lot of people, it's around their shoulders.
Yep, that's me.
Right? Maybe low back. That's about, I got to do everything myself, as an example. Right? Pain around the shoulders, all that tension. You know how much is about communication, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Everything.
Yeah, well, I know that, but
That's
I
why-
didn't know that the pain here is because of communication. Wow, can we
Yes.
unpack that a lot?
Oh,
a little
sure.
bit? Because
Yeah,
I know a lot of people that experience
Yes.
right up here.
Yes.
Why is that?
I love to talk about this because David, again, who created this work, he took really good notes, paid a lot of attention, and he was actually able, over the years, to create what he called a body map. And that's based upon the energy centers of the body. So we're all familiar with what's called the chakras. And David, through his work, he realized that, and I don't think it was just his work, I think this comes from like Ayurveda, or a lot of the Eastern medicine, about right side and left side of the body. Right side's masculine issues, left side is feminine. What he brought was about the front of the body is how I relate to the world, and how the back of the body is about how the world relates to me. And I'll give you an example. I used to carry a big knot right in the back, the scapula area on the left side of my body. And I could decode that with the body map. So it was about how a powerful female in my life was relating to me, specifically because that knot was between my communication chakra and my heart chakra. It was about how a powerful woman in my life was communicating love to me. And of course, that was my mom. And mom, a lot of times, she liked to really insert herself into my life. And that was the way she was showing me that she loved me. She wanted things to work well for me. I did not like it. And so I was really in resistance to that. And that's how it showed up for me. And my body led me right to it.
Well, it's amazing. And our talk prior to, you said that the body internalizes this. So these childhood traumas, I guess over the years, it just accumulates in your body, right?
Yes, it will.
So how do you get the trauma out of your body, become pain-free, but also get to the root cause and change that childhood vow you made?
Yes. Unfortunately, sometimes you talk about that sort of accumulation of that energy. I believe everything in the body really starts as an imbalance first, and then if we're not paying attention, we get these maybe a subtle message, and then a louder message, and then a louder message until we finally have a full-blown disease. There are practices out there that you might be familiar with about releasing energy, and those work. So they actually do, because there is an energy in the cell memory that are related to these beliefs, to these vows, but it can only be a short, even massage. One of the things that David realized, because he worked with massage therapists on this, and they said that when they massaged a certain area, people would talk about the same thing. If they had a repeat client, they'd talk about the same thing whenever a certain area of their body was being massaged. So the energy can be released, but it might not be permanent until that belief, that vow, what David called emptying the cup, happens. And so he created not only a discovery process for, okay, what's in there, but also a process for emptying the cup physically, spiritually, and mentally.
So how do you empty the cup? I think that's what our viewing audience wants to know.
Well, that's the work of the body memory process, which is what I do with people now. And I'll give you one example from the spiritual, and that's a forgiveness process. Yes, very, very powerful. I think everybody realizes how powerful forgiveness is, and that it's really about ourselves, right? Not about the other person. There is a way of working with the mental part of ourselves. You can say affirmations all day long. I could say, I am a powerful woman. And then right behind that is all that brain chatter, but hey, but remember the time you did this and really screwed up?
That always happens.
So there is work that we do in the body memory process to help people work through the mental side of things. And then there's that physical part, which is actually letting go of what's been lodged in the cell memory. Interestingly enough, it takes 90 days.
Wow.
And that's how long it takes, and we've known this, of course, for a long time, about that's how long it takes to change a habit.
So Kathi, after we've changed and we've removed it, how do we protect ourselves from maybe that parent or that spouse or somebody that means well, but keeps circling, keeps circling the drain and wanting to go there again? How do we protect ourselves from re-injuring ourselves?
Yeah. I don't know if there's an absolute guarantee about that.
Is it a boundary?
Yes. Once you become conscious of something, you can never go back.
Okay.
You can't get the toothpaste back in the tube, right? So once you've you've taken the steps to do this work, it's so powerful. I've talking to clients months, years later, it's always about progress. Now, it can get a little messy sometimes because transformation can be that way. It may be a matter of, I just can't work, that person is maybe not necessarily going to work with me in my life. And a lot of times we come together as spouses, people get married because they are mirrors for each other. And they're in each other's lives really to heal this stuff. And one might heal, and they might invite the other one to come along as well. And if they're not ready to, it might be time to move on. And so what's actually the goodness that comes out of it may not seem like, okay, it's staying together and now we're growing together.
Maybe.
Right,
yeah,
you might grow
You're in
apart.
different directions now. Now, another question for, we hear about the inner child, but while we're getting rid of the yucky stuff, how can we bring out the amazing, fearless inner child that we had? Can we work on that too?
Oh, absolutely. See, the really most powerful, the greatest thing about doing this work is when you let go of your unconscious commitments, then you have all of this energy freed up to create the life you want. I mean, you can truly look up and say, what now? Because a lot of people all their lives, they're either in crisis and they're using all that energy. There's the breakdown, there's healing, and then maybe we're in our comfort zone. We're not paying attention, we're back in crisis, right? Back all that energy, and we're never thinking of, gee, what could actually be some goals for me, or even what would be that dream life that we want? That ultimate, a relationship that just supports us every day, unconditionally, that we could attract unlimited wealth and not be held back with beliefs like,
that hold us back.
Yeah.
Well, I think about my children when they were little. I mean, they're fearless. You know, they have no problem declaring they're going to be president of the United States at 3 or 4 because they're not worried about what people think. And, you know, they go for what they want. I mean, they're almost like dogs. They live in the moment and they chase that goal. They go after what they want. And then it goes away. When does that happen? And why does that happen?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say all that conditioning is when it goes away, right? When things have to be a certain way, like even it's just a natural part of needing to take tests and all that angst about grades, right? It just kind of zaps all of that natural joy, I think, over time. And you know, the way to get it back again is just by really freeing ourselves of those constraints, you know, all of those expectations, all that stuff that we've internalized. I love being around little kids because they love to play and they're so expressive. But again, like dogs, they live in the moment, they go for it. And parenting, education, all that stuff goes away. Can we go back to the playground and actually play in our lives again as adults and really bring that joy back? Yeah, I'd say absolutely. You know, I think about some of the clients and some stories. I'd love to share a story with you to demonstrate how really transformative doing this work can be. So Frank comes to mind, and he recognized 2 things that were really, really bugging him for a long time, and he didn't know what to do about it. One was that if he didn't like his job and he didn't like talking to the boss, and if his boss called him into his office and said, "Hey, I want to talk to you about something a problem we really need to work on," Frank would immediately think he'd done something wrong. And he'd be like, I don't know anything about that. You really need to talk to somebody else. But sometimes we do these things and we're not aware of it, but it's like he was observing himself saying, I'm doing it again. I can't stop doing this. And the other thing that really bothered him is that he was a couch potato. He really wanted to be more active, but didn't really know what to do about coming home, flipping on the TV every day. And when he did this work, he discovered that his father raged all the time, and his family would cope in different ways. And what he would do is when his dad was really getting upset with him about something he did, he would say his older brother said it was okay. And his father would go storming off after his brothers. And that's where Frank learned to pass the buck.
Wow.
And he was like, hey, this really works, right? And then he forgot.
Does his brother still talk to him?
Oh, I don't know. But all those years later, he's at work and all this is happening. And he's like, I don't know why I'm doing this.
He's repeating that pattern.
And then when talking about the couch potato thing, it was because his father told him how disappointed he was that he was lazy, called him lazy, because Frank came from school, he loved to get on the couch and read. Really big about that. And forgot about that as well until we really started digging into what was going on back then. Now, here's how Frank went back to the playground. He decided to quit his job after he had all this new awareness, and he unburdened himself from I am lazy, and he articulated the one about passing the buck is I'm not the one you want. That's how it was worded.
Wow.
Let that go. And he took up hiking and moved to the mountains. And here's the really amazing thing. He had been on medicine his whole life. He had childhood onset diabetes. And within 6 months of doing the work, he was off the medicine and managing the condition with diet and exercise.
That's amazing.
So
wow.
It's the things that I've seen happen with people. It's like they're truly a new person, just a new lease on life.
That is absolutely amazing. Kathi, how can people find out more about you and your program?
I have a website. It's kathisohn.com, KATHISOHN.com. And I have information on there about my programs and about the body map.
Oh, great.
I also have a book about the work. It's You Made It Up, Now Stop Believing It.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for being on the show. Will you come back?
Absolutely, I'll love it.
This has been Leah Woodford with Entrepreneur Masterclass TV. Thanks for watching.